All right. I am still pushing through. We're covering another story tonight, even though I feel sick and not too well. And that is a scandal that has been brewing for 2 weeks now. You see, AOC and Bernie Sanders, possibly two of the most popular politicians in all of America, have been going on a tour together across the country and holding rallies in their Fight Against Oligarchy tour, a organized protest sort of tour against Trump and everything he's doing to destroy the way of life for the average American worker. And this tour has been huge. Like, people, I wanted to do some segments about it, but it's just big protest speeches and stuff. Like, I think most of you guys have followed it. It's not, there's nothing I could say that would be too crazy. So I haven't touched on it all that much. But this story is related to it, and I do have quite a bit to say. First, we're going to rewind a couple weeks, though. This is a video that came out 2 weeks ago. It was made by Memology 101, who, if you guys don't know, was one of the first conservative creators I ever called out on my channel. Go back, like, years and years and years and years ago. The guy used to pull millions of views per video, and he would make, like, blatantly, like, very right-wing videos, arguably even alt-right videos, and I called him out for it, and in response, mind you, I had, like, 5,000 subs at the time. I had 5,000. I was a very, very small channel, and so he took it upon himself to send his entire fan base after me, and he made a video about how this stupid soy boy lefty called him, Memology 101, a Latino racist. Everyone knows Latinos can't be racist. It's never been unheard of. And that was literally the whole video. His videos are always like about a minute long, and they're always like essentially the YouTube video equivalent to the dumbest conservative Twitter take you could imagine. And so he was one of the big creators that kind of jumped on the bandwagon of criticizing AOC and Bernie because during their Fight Against Oligarchy tour, they used a private jet to get between locations. And all of the right who is against like green energy and eco consciousness has been calling this out because they don't believe that people shouldn't be flying in private jets, but they know that, like, the left criticizes that behavior, and so they're trying to call out hypocrisy without really tackling the ecology, like the eco-friendly side of the debate. Like, they don't want to actually argue why preserving the environment isn't good. They can't argue that point, but they can point to everyone who argues for that and try to make them seem like hypocrites. And so that's what they do. And here's a good example of that from Memology 101. Let's take a look at his video he made 2 weeks back. And you'll find out why I'm covering a drama that's been broiling for 2 weeks in a moment. Memology 101's videos are very smooth-brained, so don't expect any groundbreaking arguments here. Bernie Sanders and AOC caught exiting a private jet despite their past criticisms of flying private. April 18th, 2025. Uh-oh, guys. There they are. There it is. Their private jet. Well, I don't know if they own it. The private jet they're using. I assume it's, like, rented, or they've, like, I don't know, like, got somebody who is offered to like, give them a private jet to use. Unless they just have one, in which case, damn. I didn't think Bernie Sanders and AOC had private jet money, but I guess they might. It's a light jet, too. Those have less carbon emissions than commercial airliners. I'm sure every way in which the harm could be minimized has been taken. The right will never accept that, nor will most people who fall for the talking point, though. They won't accept it. The right has been hammering on AOC and Bernie for this for weeks now. And, like, if I read the comments, you can see, like, all the talking points are there. Think that flight was taxpayer-funded? Almost certainly not. Bernie has turned out to be one of the biggest hypocrites in U.S. politics of all time, even before the specific occasion. They probably don't even know what oligarchy means. Just like when AOC went to the Met Gala wearing an Eat the Rich dress, the hypocrisy is just priceless. The thing I hate in politicians, both left and right, is hypocrisy. To fight oligarchy, one must become oligarchy. The millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share. Becomes a millionaire. The billionaires need to pay their fair share. Bernie Sanders. That's been a common talking point among them. Like, Bernie Sanders has always been famous for saying, billionaires need to pay their fair share. Billionaires should not exist. And now recently they've started pushing this literally made up talking point that at one point Bernie became a millionaire and stopped criticizing millionaires and saying millionaires should be taxed more. Bernie does say millionaires should be taxed more, but his rhetoric has always been more about billionaires, the ones who actually own 50% of America's wealth. The millionaires are part of the 90% technically. The billionaires own multitudes more wealth than the millionaires. They're the ones who actually are the 1%. So yes, millionaires need to be taxed more, don't get me wrong, but like, they are a completely different league than the billionaires. Let's be real here, okay? Like, they're a completely different league. And I'm glad to say that Bernie Sanders and AOC are not backing down despite the attempt to go at them for this, you know? As those comments say, and it's not an uncommon tendency, people do not like hypocrisy. If someone makes a good point and someone disagrees with that point, all they have to do is prove the other person is a hypocrite, even if it's unrelated to the point that they disagree on, and people will discredit the individual. And sometimes just discrediting an individual known for pushing an idea will also serve the double purpose of discrediting the idea as well. But Bernie Sanders and AOC aren't backing down. This came out just today. They just put out their response to this drama, which is kind of crazy because it's been going for 2 weeks. But I guess the right hasn't let it go. It's been ongoing, so they finally come out and decided it's time to say something. So let's find out. What did they say? I have not seen this yet.
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No. It doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign.
Oligarchy is not when you fly in a private jet. Oligarchy is when billionaires literally hold positions in government and have immense influence directly over how the country is run and how regulation is made and where regulation doesn't exist, such as Elon Musk and Doge. That's oligarchy. Oligarchy is not having money. This is blatantly dishonest, but hey, it is Fox News. Also, there were actually some conservatives who came out to defend Bernie on this, believe it or not, Bernie and AOC. For those that don't know, the tour itself took place over the course of there were 3 locations they needed to go in 2 days that were on opposite sides of the country. It was like they needed to go to Chicago, somewhere in Texas, and somewhere in Florida. Something like that level of distance in 2 days. And hold rallies in those places over the course of 2 days. Logistically, the only way is to fly. And taking a public flight, we all know, deboarding and boarding is an hours-long process. It takes a day to take a 6-hour flight. A 6-hour flight, you would think, oh, that's half your day, maybe. And you might still have time to do something before and after your flight during that day for a 6-hour flight, or a 4-hour flight even, right? Surely. But nah. A 3 to 6 hour flight is an all-day thing. The getting up, going to the airport, getting on board, at waiting at the terminal, getting on board, going through the security, the actual plane ride itself, the finding the getting ready for landing, the actual being on the runway, the taxiing or whatever it's called, and then the actual deboarding process, finding your luggage and getting out, going through the airport and getting it's a whole day process. I can tell you because I did that yesterday and I wasn't even the one taking the flight. I just went to go meet someone at the airport. And so yeah, listen, when they're doing a big tour type thing, it makes sense. It's the same reason why I don't give Taylor Swift shit for being progressive and seemingly pro saving the environment, but still flying a private jet for her Eras Tour thing, right? She is a big celebrity who can afford a private jet, whose income relies on being many different places that otherwise you would have to teleport to be there on time for. That is how you maintain a career that big and hold tours and concerts that big. Like, yeah, like once again, this is an example of trying to attack. An individual is making a criticism about how a system is broken and a system is unfair. And the party who wants to defend the system says, well, look how well you've done in that system. Sure, that may be a good discreditor of the individual criticizing the system, but what's so frustrating is that all parties involved seem to accept that as a discrediting of the criticism of that corrupt or broken system. You know? Like, Hassan can be, like, a hypocrite about his, like, criticism of rich people, but his criticism of capitalism can still be accurate, right? You know, and I don't even like Hassan. It's like trying to debunk socialism by saying, well, Hassan, you're wealthy. It's like, no, engage with the argument. Actually try and debunk the ideology. Just try.
And you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people.
Senator Bernie Sanders is facing criticism from Republicans for using private jets during his Fighting Oligarchy tour with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The tour focuses on economic inequality, but critics say using luxury travel is hypocritical. The backlash grew after Sanders mocked the idea of flying commercial, saying private jets let him reach more people quickly. He said flying private is necessary to attend multiple rallies each week.
Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past.
People have tried to frame this as, oh, well, I'm a politician, so I matter more than you. No, that's not what Bernie is saying here. Bernie is explicitly saying, there are 30,000 people waiting for us at this next rally location. Do we take several days trying to travel through traditional means to get there? Or do we bite the bullet and take the private jet and not keep those 30,000 people waiting? We actually get to make that promise.
We're going to do it in the future.
Reports say Sanders has spent over $200,000 on private jets since February. Republicans, including Representative Wesley Hunt...
That's not a lot. Like, $200,000 is a lot, but if Bernie Sanders is a millionaire, and also that it's for a private jet over the course of February, like several months, right? Like, we're talking since February, he's been using this private jet, and that's only $221K. Also, I love this. Bernie Sanders blew $221K on private jets during his Fight the Oligarchy tour, then mocked the idea of flying commercial. You think I'm going to wait in line at United? I love that framing of it, right? That's totally what he meant. I love the implication as well. We've had some of them comment implying they believe it, but the implication of the way this is worded is supposed to be the idea that this was taxpayer money. It obviously wasn't. It was Bernie Sanders' own personal money. But I love this like implication, this trying to evoke in people the idea that Bernie Sanders is dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars of your taxpayer money on an ideologically driven tour of protest. That's what they're trying to push.
Called him out of touch, and others accused him of ignoring his own climate goals. Some conservatives like Laura Loomer also say Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez are acting like the elites they claim to fight. But others defend Sanders, noting his age and the need for fast travel during campaigns.
Yeah, the majority of, overall, this protest tour has been immensely successful and has had a lot of support.
Andrew Yang said private flights make sense for someone who is 83 and campaigning in multiple states a day.
Yeah, really good way of putting it. It's pretty straightforward. The right has been trying to discredit what Bernie Sanders stands for and his criticism of Trump and the oligarchy, because they know it's oligarchy. The right is getting scared. They're getting scared that the left is starting to lock in, and people are starting to realize how bad Trump is simultaneously, and they know where the tide is turning. That right now, if things keep continuing in this direction, it's not going to end up good for the right. And it's getting better for the left. They're terrified of that. They're utterly terrified of it. So yeah. Regardless, though, If you enjoyed this segment, if you found my commentary entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider supporting the stream by dropping a like and a comment. In fact, if you want to let me know you watched this far, consider commenting... What should you comment? If oligarchy bad, then why jet? Comment that. If oligarchy bad, then why jet? Leave that comment down below. Really does help. Really does boost the channel and the algorithm, and it lets me know that you watched this far, which is always good. It tells me you enjoyed. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description, especially my fan Discord if you haven't already. It's the main hub of my community and fan base. I host gaming events, call-in streams, and watch parties and movie nights there every Friday, every week, and announce all my new uploads and streams there so you won't miss anything. On top of that, if you want to go the extra mile and support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.